Hey guys, welcome back to another Skyrim mods video. I think you're going to like this one because most of these mods are, to me, game changing. So if you end up enjoying, make sure to hit that like button and also endorse mod authors. But let's dive right in. Starting off overhauling Orphan Rock with the new mod called Occult Orphan Rock. In vanilla Skyrim, Orphan Rock is just a big rock with the hag raven on top of it. It's pretty simple honestly, but this mod takes that and does a complete 180, transforming the location to something that you would see in a fantasy horror type of genre. The exterior was changed, adding a giant dead tree and a shrine with the body outside of it, just kind of giving you a heads up for what's to come next, because this mod also features a brand new small dungeon for you to explore. And heads up, it is pretty horrific. The dungeon is called the Blood Tree, and once you venture inside, you'll be greeted by a bunch of blood falling from the ceiling. And once you pass the waterfall and decide to maybe jump down where the blood is spilling, that is your last chance to actually leave the dungeon, because once you're inside of it, the only way out is to fight through hordes of enemies, mainly skeevers. And also there's another hag raven added to this place as well. So if you aren't prepared to fight 2 hag ravens and a bunch of skeevers, like when I say a bunch I mean a lot of skeevers, to get out of this place, then you're going to die a lot unless you decide to reload an earlier save. All the creepiness aside, I definitely appreciate the new aesthetic. Draugr Imco is a new Draugr mod that replaces all their animations and allows them to use Imco without you having to add a bunch of new races to your game with that other mod on Nexus. But Draugr Imco also works for other races such as skeletons or zombies. Now they will flow around their arms, throwing a bunch of attacks until you back too far away. These new animations will apply to all vanilla type Draugr animations. I didn't try it with Restless Dead, but it requires no other mods to make this work. And what makes this mod so great is that they don't just keep attacking you even if they miss. They'll basically attack you based on range. So if you're close, they'll keep attacking until you back up, but if you're far away, they will start to lunge at you. It gives them kind of a predictable type of combat, but I mean, they are undead and are being controlled by something else, so it kind of makes sense. And if you would like to go a step further, you can combine it with trolls, also by Distar on their website. This will give trolls new animations, also based on the range of combat that the enemy is currently in. Trolls will now send a flurry of attacks at enemies, knocking them down and sending them pretty far away if you happen to be using poise like me. This will completely change the way that you approach trolls, taking them from an easy enemy to kill once you level up a little bit, to an enemy that you will need to plan for. The only time that these trolls will give you an opening is if you back up far enough. Their lunge attack does have a bit of a cooldown, leaving them in place and ready for you to attack them. But other than that, they will continue to attack you until you're dead. These 2 mods go great for overhauling the forgotten enemies of Skyrim, or you can use the Nexus alternatives, but I prefer this one. But to each their own, I guess. This mod is called Suspicious City Guards. This mod, as the name suggests, will make guards more suspicious of the player, making them follow you around if you're sneaking, and of course they have to see you, or if you just happen to have your weapon out walking around. Once they become suspicious of you, you will gain a debuff that makes you 25% more likely to get caught while sneaking around. I mean, if you saw a guy crouching with an axe in his hand following someone, you'd probably be suspicious as well. But the guards definitely aren't sneaky about following you. They will run after you if you get too far away, like you recruited a follower. Eventually the guards will try to warn you to stop being suspicious, and after a few seconds, about 10 to 15 seconds, the guards will start to leave you alone and you'll lose your debuff. But if you do commit a crime in front of them, they will arrest you on the spot and send you to prison, or you can just fight your way out. This is a great mod when combined with city bags, making guards more useful. But I recommend combining it with the improvement mod, Suspicious City Guards improvements, making them no longer care if your weapon is drawn, because that led to some issues in the original mod. But they will still be suspicious if they catch you sneaking around, but this mod also buffs the debuff that you get from 25% to 35% if you're caught being suspicious. I definitely recommend grabbing this add-on. This next mod is called Shield Protect from Magic. I might just be blind, but on my time on Nexus, this is the only mod that will allow for you to block any kind of magic without relying on wards. Using the MCM, it lets you set what percentage of damage is blocked. If you're blocking with the shield, weapons do not count, only shields. You can even block up to 100% damage if you set that in the MCM. The only downside to this mod, even if you block the damage from the magic, you cannot block the effect from the magic. So your stamina and magicka will still drain if you're hit by a frost or shock spell respectively. If you're using a mod like Wildcat, this mod is definitely a must have unless you want to die in 2 seconds to the first bandit that you find that uses magic. Balfieran Knight Set, an armor mod featuring a unisex heavy armor that comes with HDT support, so that mod is needed or your clothing will clip into the ground. This armor comes with good stats as well, featuring around elven level stats, so that is what is required to craft it because you can make it at any forge, along with the new weapon that comes with it. This armor, based on my own assumptions and based on armor's title, is based on the Isle of Balfieran, which was very prominent in the 3rd era, before Bethesda began simplifying their armors towards one color. Because this type of armor is something that you might see in maybe Morrowind or maybe Oblivion, even though that's kind of where it all started. And based on the mod's description, this is Altmer theme, so I wonder what kind of fashion they were wearing. And based on the mod's description requiring elven smithing perk to craft, I can assume that this armor will be a mid to end game level armor, and the weapon on top of it also adds a ton of damage that you can deal to enemies. But if you did happen to watch my last video and decided to grab signature equipment, you can make this your complete in-game armor and use it for your entire playthrough.
A fight! Ah!
This mod that lets you kill Nazim is called Dead by Dining, basically making a new way for you to poison enemies without being caught, because now once you approach food with the default hotkey being H and you have poison in your inventory, you can poison an item and it will take on a new title. And to poison someone, all you have to either do is drop the food in front of them, or you can give it to them from their inventory. The damage done to the NPC won't kill them automatically. It will be based on how potent the poison is that you put in the food, and of course how much you put in it. NPCs will also be given new interactions if they happen to survive the poison, mainly because they're essential. You can also customize everything using the MCM, determining how many poisons you can put into food, and the radius that the food will be picked up at, because sometimes some NPCs grab the wrong things. Up next, we have the mod Skyrim True Believers Widgets, or simply STB Widgets. This mod is simply an all-in-one widget button, adding so many into your game that you really won't need many other mods. By pressing the N key, you'll pull up a menu, allowing you to pretty much customize this menu all you want in game without you having to close and reopen your game a bunch of times to get your HUD set up how you want it to be. You can customize the widgets to always be active and also add color to them with their alternate style, or you can have the widget set up so that it only activates during combat in case you don't like your screen being so cluttered. There's also been add-ons that change up the icons, such as Elden Ring type icons. Up next, a new animation overhaul for Dwarven Centurions. This mod is called New Creature Animations Dwarven Centurions, and there are 2 versions. This is the Open Animation Replacer version for compatibility reasons. As you can see, this mod adds many new animations to Dwarven Centurions, as well as new elemental attacks for them that make them not too weak if they aren't blowing a bunch of steam in your face. In vanilla Skyrim, they rarely have more than maybe 2 attacks, not including the steam, but with this one, you'll see a bunch of new diversity, with fire and shock spells being mixed into their melee attacks that can hit you from afar if you're too far away. And trust me, considering this is meant to be a boss type battle, they do a lot of damage now, on top of their new ultimate skill. It's kind of rare that it does the ultimate skill though, but it's definitely worth seeing considering you'll probably die the moment that you see it. Up next, a utility mod called Modex, a mod explorer menu. This mod pretty much replaces Skyrim cheat engine that I'm using and any other add item menu. This mod will load all your plugins upon you launching the game, and once everything finishes loading on the main menu, you don't have to even join the game before you can open it with the delete key. It allows for you to search for items quickly as well as add them to your inventory, or you can just teleport to new locations based on the menu. Me doing YouTube, I've started to memorize COC locations, but with this, it makes it so much easier to find new locations that weren't previously listed on the wiki page. But of course, besides adding items and teleporting to locations, you can also now find NPCs that were previously lost to you and bring them to you, or you can also teleport to them if you want to go that route, or you can just create a whole new version of them that spawns right next to you. This really makes managing NPCs so much easier, but you want to be careful with how many you summon. And if you happen to have a mod list like mine that's nearing 2,000, and I'm probably gonna go higher, then that'll add a lot of options that you can summon in your inventory, and that'll kind of clutter things up. And if you want to remove those options, you just go to the settings menu and then you click on things to blacklist. And there's quite a lot of things that you can blacklist that doesn't really need to be there. Like, unless you're using an interior mod that adds furniture, there's no reason to not blacklist those. And after you finish blacklisting a bunch of stuff, you can just click save and set it as a new profile. 2025 is definitely starting off better than 2024 did. Let me know what you guys thought about this selection of mods, but I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys, and don't forget to endorse mod authors.